Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Build Life from Oak Hill Works. How are we all doing? I hope you are well and not too melted. Because I'll tell you what, it is rather meltingly hot here in the works this evening. But here we have a layout. The camera is actually further away from the workbench than it would normally be. So this is definitely the biggest project we've had yet. Oh, I assume most of you watched at least part of Tuesday's video and so know what I've done so far. For those that don't, I've laid some cork and drawn round the points. Drilled some holes, and I said in the video 10mm, but what I actually used was a 6mm drill bit because 6mm is enough. This evening I am still as solid as I ever was. That is good. I approve of being solid. And good evening, Paderborn. How are you? I can't see the chat as well this evening. Someone put a baseboard where the laptop normally sits. This is where chat would normally be, and I can see it. Instead, it's all the way over here. Look how dark it is once you get out of the reach of the light. That is, of course, why I have lights underneath the shelving. Because it does genuinely drop off in brightness that much when you get outside the light. So yes, I brought out some wagons. I've definitely not been playing with the layout at all or anything with my variety of wagons. Would be hard to type in a gaseous form. I mean, I was more thinking liquid from melting. But that's just me. Lynn makes a very good point there, actually. Hang on a second. I have some Mark 1 interior kits here. Mark 1 interior kits. It does not say to use a different colour for first and second class, so these may not be as accurate as I would like. These are the carpets for it. Quite whether those are accurate colours, one being grey, one being green, I don't know. Right, let's put those away. So, aha, grey brown, interesting, thank you. I think I have colour for that. That is okay. So that they are, well, I got those years ago, back when I modelled the 50s. They've never really been used. Skip the color composite, which applies the first compartment to have maroon, brown floor, blue seats. I definitely have blue seats in there for first class. It mentions those being first class. And I'm going to remind everyone on this rather very warm day, hydration is essential. Never mind important. Look at that, you can see the whole mug. That's how far away the camera is. Better than dark brown original. Indeed, yes. So, yes, for those that haven't seen it before, this is South Park Quarry. A obviously not massive layout, and has been planned for a while. In fact, this sign has been on my pinboard since the second episode of Let's Build, and we're now here on 112. So it's been quite a while. Good evening, Heritage Railway. The heat's really getting to my speech here, isn't it? Good evening, Heritage Railway Productions. I am certainly hydrated and well. How are you? I hope you are well and also hydrated. Indeed, we are Romans, James. I meant to add that as a command, actually. There was a couple of other commands I meant to add as well that I forgot. So the layout, for those that haven't guessed already, is to be built with Pico Code 75 flat bottom. It was always planned like that. I think it was planned before... No, it can't be before Bullhead was a thing, because I definitely didn't plan this until after Bright Helmstone was built, and that is Bullhead. People called on us, they go to the house. And because we are DCC, we have just 2 wires. Because, you know, DCC is only 2 wires. As we'll soon discover. So yeah, if I move all the track off, you can actually start to see the track plan of the layout. The buffer stops that I've got on here at the moment are LBSC pattern buffer stops that I made from Pico ones. Have been lifted off O'Kill. One goes there. You are well. Excellent. That is what I like to hear. This one goes down here. And the big one that hurt my wallet the most goes here. You can see from the scribbled out lines that I definitely didn't mess anything up when drawing this out. And finally, this one goes here. But before we actually stick any of that down, I mean, obviously we will be starting at this end and working our way in. We actually need to modify the points to make them more electrically reliable, because we're DCC, so that's what we do. And the way to do that... Yay, pointers. There are 2 wires here. Those wires connect from the frog through these rails onto these rails into the switch rails, allowing the switch rails to take power off here and transmit it all the way through. That is not how we will be using these. So we will cut these wires and solder across this gap here a new wire there to there and there to there, meaning our switch rails and this first bit here will be permanently connected to their respective outer rails. They always have electrical connection, and we will then, via the point motor, have a frog switch in here. So this will all be powered from the frog switch. There will be no relying on contacts. Everything will be soldered. It will be wonderful. I have realised, however, that I have left the fish plates out of reach, which is handy. They are on the other side of the laptop. So I'm going to have to grab those before I forget and start looking for them. They are also really easy to get to because they're in the box that this layout lives in. So it won't be really awkward or anything. I'm going to put you on the Be Right Back music whilst I totally mess that up. That was exactly as awkward and painful as I expected. Think how much you'd get in that with Engage, Little Dapple Terrier and some teeny wagons would give lots of shunting joy. You could indeed get loads of in one of these in Engage. I have a friend who actually has 3 of these for an Engage layout. Well, it's a pair of Engage layouts. So he's got one of these as a layout, then another one next to it, turned round, so this is at the front as a fiddle yard, and then another layout on the far side. He's not built them yet, but he's got some interesting plans. That me needing a Dapple Terrier. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Dapple Terriers of any form whatsoever. Are you looking green today? Not quite as green as last time. You see, for some reason, my camera has decided it has to reset the white balance every time I come to use Streamlabs. So that's fun. And although we're probably not going to get to that point tonight, I did grab a point motor out whilst I was getting the fish plates. You can see we are using SEEP PM4s, which are self-latching. The idea here being that this has the spring on it and holds itself in position. And because of that, we do not need a spring on here. The point motor will hold it in position. So I can take out all the springing mechanism in there and generally make it look nicer. Sorry about that. I said hello and then lost YouTube, so I'll try again. Evening all. Good evening, Paderborn. Welcome back. How are you? I hope you managed to stay around for more than 5 seconds this time. That would be good. Silly YouTube getting lost. So this point motor contains, obviously, the point motor, the spring that holds the point motor in place as it slides across, and also, as you can see, well, you probably can't see, there are 2 tracks that run up and across here with a gap in the middle and another output, and those are the accessory switch that we will use to power the frog on here. So for a small, cheap little bit of kit, it's rather important and does rather a lot. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How the devil is everyone? I am very well. How are you, Thomas? The springing mechanism looks okay as a representation of facing point lock, but you don't need that on a goods only line. Exactly, so it has to go. I will probably be leaving it there and cutting it out, or removing it when I add the point motors though, so that I can still play with it in the meantime. It's going to make life awkward, but it'll be worth it. And then we have insulating and regular rail joiners. Each point will get insulating joiners on its frog so that we can flip it quite happily. Alright, cheers, just trying to keep cool. Aren't we all? And you know what helps keep cool? Lots of hydration. Indeed, insulting rail joiners, they are terrible. Mostly well, pulled something in my back, so it's a bit ouch. Apart from that, everything is dandy. Ouch, I do not approve of pulling stuff in your back. Fans help too. Yeah, but you did you see the picture of my new fan I put on Discord? It might sound like a jet engine if I turn it on. Air conditioning. Yeah, but we don't have air conditioning in the UK. We don't need it. So I'm told. It's getting more common. One day I will get some. Today is not that day. So, modifying point motors. Points, not point motors. No, I can't get on with those. That's a shame. Because these do not give you much room to play with. So the easiest thing to do is to get under. There goes the end of the knife blade. Under the wire and break it off. Because you really cannot get in there. Although with a pair of snips, they can't get in. This is obviously going to take forever to do now that I said this is the easy way. Oh, look at that, it's really bent nose. I have to straighten those out. Post the picture of your latest subscriber. A bit weird, isn't it? Well, you know, got to show some appreciation. They are my biggest fan, after all. In fact, I've been I've been rubbing old man cream, so it should be better soon. Cream sounds like it is that. Well, each to their own. That's all I'm going to say about that. Each to their own. There we go. That's coming away now. That's that one away. That's that one away. So what you want is a small screwdriver. So now, where you can see the isolating gap there, those rails are no longer connected. I thought that was me. Drops 2 drums and a cymbal off the cliff. they are my biggest fan. Oh, hooray for layout stream. Good evening, Red. How are you? I hope you are well. So also, it sounds like there's Tom's video about. Could have told you that, yeah, I know. Got a reference for like Finlanders somehow. Just for clarity here, though, everyone. Oh no, no. But I screwed it in place, didn't I? My biggest fan definitely looks more like a jet engine than a person. See, the problem is I don't build enough layouts, so I forget what tool it is that is best for doing these things. Every new layout's like an experiment. Don't press too hard though, because you'll pop the rails out the chairs. And push the blooming cable, the wire around past it. I never noticed that. Darn it. I need to get that out now. Because I've put the rail back down in the chair and the wire's coming out underneath it. Pushing it up. Let's pull this one off before I stab myself on it. There we go. All better. On 5 minutes ago, would be if I'll stop trying to stand on my keyboard. Well, what a cat's for. Anyone build enough layouts? That's a good point, James. I quite agree. No one builds enough layouts. Build more layouts, everyone. Why are we all here? Just to... Oh dear. It's pun o'clock at the works again. It's always pun o'clock at Oak Hill Works. I'll tell you what, the fan on the laptop is really giving it some this evening. It's always pun o'clock when I'm around. The current state of humour in this thread is shocking. Oh, that's not even, no, Linny, no. Terrible. Also, is there such things enough layouts? No, you are correct. There is not. Those are disconnected enough. What's the... oh no. No. That pun got a negative reaction. Oh. Your pun is terrible if you have to put it in capitals to make sure people get it. There's no point asking if there's enough layouts. After all, I've got this one. And look, go on camera. There's another one just there. It's not even the only one in the room. I want to say I don't like all these puns, but I do. Hydration is important. I could add the monkey drummer gif I use on Discord in these situations into this chat. I would, but you can't, so you won't. Haha. So, 3 points ready for me to do some soldering. And then they will be ready to be laid. Suppose this carries on, Gary might commit assault and battery. Oh, no, that one was terrible, Linny. And good evening, Sophia. How are you? I hope you are well. You'd only see the inside of a cell. Oh, dear, Linny, it gets worse. We'll just have to solder on through the terrible jokes. Well, I will, at least. What's worse, you're all making these electricity puns and we're not even doing wiring. We're laying track. It just happens to be that I need to use a few wires to modify the points. Oh my god, I'm dealing. He might start a linear trending capacitance for puns. One track mind. Can't have me sleeping on the job. Will the trains run or is this a static diorama? So, I have said before I don't like giving away my targets, but I always have targets for the live streams. Not only will the trains run, I plan on having trains running before the end of next week's live stream. And yes, I did get the pun. I'm just making sure because I want to give away that bit of information that time as motivation to myself. That was a good one. Had a warm queue. Electricity is in my self-esteem. Shocking turn of events. What bright spot started the electricity puns? This chat's going off around static. That is ambitious. That is very ambitious, yes. And telling you lot is my motivation to make it happen. I want wheels to turn by the end of next week's live stream. Oh, how the turntable. Oh. No. Good evening, Javier. How are you? I hope you are well. First light on the layout must be the most superior kind of for SECR, of course. You know what? I nearly started the live stream with the H class and the D3 facing each other. Just for you. So you could see how much better the D3 is, obviously. Big piece of wire, stripped off and coiled. Obviously it went really well because the end's coming apart, so I'm just going to twist it some more. You beat me to points one. Guess there's no points in it now because then you need M7 to complete the set. Yeah, I've got an M7 as well. Sorry for the hard time trying to stay current in the chat. Oh dear. Q1 is even better. Well, I wouldn't know about that. I clearly saw you say earlier that the H was the best one. Was it earlier? Was it yesterday? Who knows? It was at some point. Rather hot. Yeah, it's rather hot here as well, Javier. You'll be glad to know. The UK is currently going through a bit of a heat wave. It is roughly 32 in the works at the moment. In Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. There we go. One long sticky wire. Oh, we're getting all the puns now, aren't we? I realise I sort of ask for this with the fact I make a lot of puns, but that's not the point. And that is how we modify points for DCC. I cannot see my preview screen. There's a light in the way. But there we go. So we have cut these two connections and made two connections there. They need a bit of tidying up because the wires stick out the side. But that's fine. We can do that later. The important point is to get them all done. It's only better because I didn't paint the Q1 in full SECR. Fair enough. So SECR Q class, there was indeed, James. For nearly 32 over here, very humid. Yeah, it's not nice, is it? There's SCR Q1, are you referring to Bullet SI engine in Retro 3? 32 equals 86 Fahrenheit. Fair enough. Hot weekend, lots of rain last week. Yeah, you've been all over the news with your lots of rain in Germany. I hope everything is okay where you are, because I'll tell you what, the maps they've shown me haven't really helped, because I don't know where things are in Germany. I think I'm punned out now, you're safe. Good. It's kind of hot. SCRQ and Q1 were 044s. Important point. Yes. Yes, James. More puns. What's that? Da, 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 da. Genuinely the last one. Yeah, yeah, if you say so. Dry here and feeling very thankful for it. Excellent. I am glad to hear that. It's all of that. Why don't you continue to wire, mate? The wire that bridges the two rails there, the dropper. You know what? That's what I usually do. I don't know why I haven't done that. Yeah. That's what I usually do, James. Well pointed out. It's this heat, you see, and the fact that I haven't built layouts in so long. These are the first points I've wired up since the narrow gauge. That must be some time ago now. But it's too late, I've done it now. Hopefully they won't be the last points I wire for another long time. Because, thanks to Linny, I ordered Oak Hill 2, a station building earlier. Few neighbours have had cellars flooded, but ours is dry. I approve of unflooded. Yes, I approve of unflooded cellars too. Unflooded cellars are the best type of cellars. Gary's sensible wiring has bored away in the heat. He'll probably solder a wire to the back seam next. No, the back seam's wood. It won't take solder. Hopefully Hailsham Lankill Mark II will be a thing soon. Well, I mean, Hailsham is all... Hailsham is a working layout. All the track is down and wired. It can be played with. It's just too big. Good evening, Alexander. I am very well, thank you. How are you? But yes, so Oak Hill 2 will be having the Bachmann, Sincraft, Sheffield Park station buildings because I got the lot. For a very good price. which I hope you all approve of good prices as well. Peter was the best seller. Back to the puns. I don't indeed. Back to the puns. If it does a lot of money, well, it's a lot less than full price, is what it is. I was proving buildings. They good buildings. I brought home for working Hailsham. Look, it's been working for years, literally. Now, do I need to make adjustments to the slip? I don't think I do. I think the slip essentially comes like these are. Yes, it does. And has lots of frogs to be flicked and played with and confuse me, basically. That's what it's going to try and do. Can confirm I have operated Hailsham. Indeed you have. Oh, your secret contact at work, I guess. No. Linny found them for me. Very well, thanks. Very LBSR weekend. Brighton in full uniform where I met Mr. Stradley himself. It's great that Lisa went on to Noel at Spa Valley today. Indeed, I saw your posts on Instagram. It looked like a terrible weekend to be in those many clothes, to be honest. Stop flicking frogs, they don't like it. There you go. Yes, I managed to get the full set of station buildings, the full set of the Sincraft Sheffield Park for 140 quid, which is significantly less than what it actually costs. Better to flick frogs than to lick them. Good point, Linny. And in other ordering news, the fiddle yard to come off the end here is arriving tomorrow. So, yay. That is a very good deal. I thought so. I think some of them are 80 quid or more RRP. They are indeed. The station building alone is over 250 RRP. And I've got more than that, so I am happy. Hydration, still important. Arrive fiddle yards are the best sort of fiddle yards. Yep. Wait, really? Yeah, really. We're going to move the camera somewhere over here now. It's great having a movable camera. It's a shame the microphone doesn't move quite as well. Saturday was bearable, thank goodness. I wasn't in uniform today. Respect to rail volunteers, staff, etc. running railways in this heat. Fair enough. When I saw you in your uniform, I was like, that's got to be terrible. Batman's police box, extortionate price wise, smaller than a Hornby one, almost 3 times the price. Probably more accurate size, to be fair. We don't actually want to go over there yet, because I've not attached the droppers, have I? Because I did it like an idiot. We want to attach some droppers before going over there. It's good how quickly we got back, isn't it? Now, how big am I going to make these droppers? They don't need to be very big, do they? In theory, they don't need to be more than half the length of that at most. So if I go that size for droppers, they will all be long enough. Still expensive for what it is. Yeah, but Bachmann is more expensive than Hornby. This is not a secret. How many amps is your power supply? 5. At most. It has a safety cut-off at 5. Are those 16.02? I believe so, yes. They are definitely 0.2. Have we had a chocolate frog pun yet after all their magic? Oh dear. No, we haven't. Cutting a bit tight for 5. They'll be fine. It won't ever get to that. It won't ever actually need that sort of level. There would have to be something wrong for it to get to 5 amps, at which point the safety cutout will cut it out instead. You may indeed suggest that, although at some point this is going to change what controller I use. Because at the minute, with its 5 amps, that'll be with my lens controller. This will be being changed to a NCE at some point, which I don't think come with a 5 amp controller. Safety, what's that? It's something that we very much approve of on this live stream. Bye, dropper. Precisely, but something wrong. Fault condition could easily draw almost 5 amp. The wires then get very hot and could start a fire. Yeah, but it'll be fine once I've switched controllers. PPE, because eyes are important, indeed. Welcome to Oak where safety is our number one priority. So, DCC, it's 2 wires, it really is. That's not a lie. Red at the front, green at the back. This is the front. Cut that down a bit, it doesn't need much. And same again. Thought hydration was on. The hydration is a subset of safety. It is indeed. Well, let's be honest, if anything was actually going to be the number one priority, it would be making trains go choo choo choo. I use a lava metaphor for my wiring, red on the inside, black on the outside. Yeah, that works, especially if your layout is a loop. Those are very stiff wires. They're actually not. They're very, very flexible. They're just good at holding their shape when I want them to. for feeding through the baseboard, as Linny points out. Oh, I know where I was just looking for a pen. I know where they are. They're behind the back scene. And he has a point. This is a common occurrence. It is indeed. So, yes, now that we've put some droppers on that one, we can come down here. I can put my point down where it's going to go, and I can get my pen under those wires. Okay, I can't actually get it under that side because... Yeah, that's right. There's a back scene in the way, and I'm not used to working with a back scene in place at this stage, but that is pre-built baseboards for you. Kit-built baseboards for you. My latest bargain was at the Bluebell yesterday in the carriage shop with a luggage van. Aha! Excellent. I approve of bargains in the carriage shop. Lily has more points than a 360. So I did Polygon. Ah. Sounds a bit like Cluedo. It was Territorial Productions in the carriage shop with a luggage van. Yes. Now, this layout does not have more points than that. It does have more points than Bright Helmstone, though. Is that the dot I marked? That is the dot I marked. That doesn't feel like it's gone through properly. Oh, it has. Okay. Bright Helmstone is completely pointless, though. Bright Helmstone is indeed completely pointless. Don't tell me I put the wrong size drill bit in there. That would not be the first time I'd done this, where I just put the size too small. It looks like I have, you know. Because that, having no trouble. But that's the biggest one. It can't be the one that's one size too small. That's not how being the biggest works. Pointless is not always useless. Indeed, it is not. The fact that this is the biggest means it has to work with it, because these are the wires I always use for droppers. And this is the set of drills I always use to drill the holes for the droppers. But those are not going through. That, on the other hand, does. My that is rather pointy, so it's not too sharp. Oh dear. You know what that means, don't you? It means it's where I've soldered on the ends of them already. I'll save that for later. I've obviously made it slightly too big with a blob of solder. And now I've put a kink in that in just the wrong place, haven't I? You all just watched me put a thing through there, didn't you? Goodness gracious, Bluebell's online shop still selling Backman Sheffield Park buildings. Are you looking at their full retail price and thinking, no? Because that's what I've always done. I thought they were too expensive on the first run. Never mind the second where the prices have gone up because, you know, that's what happens. They probably ordered lots. I would expect they did. So, wires that are loose are quite happy to go through. Wires that are exactly the same but attached to points do not want to go through. That is what we call irritating. Let me move everything off this layout. Into all this space I now have because I've tidied the workbench. Booking office £99.95, waiting room £89.95, storeroom £59, canopy £57.95, but £310 so far. You see my point. Confession time, I've never actually been to the Bluebell. That is disgraceful. You must go there immediately. Same, yes, but how far away are you from the Bluebell, Joseph? Because I'd like to point out, Sophia came to my shop this week. She's nice and local and can go to the Bluebell. Stephen, I hope you aren't mind-boggling helping well. Good evening, Kevin. How are you? I am well, just very hot. Let's knock everything off. My holes are over here. I'm just going to try and open them out from this side. It's out a world map. Exactly, Joseph. Have them move it to Hastings as I don't drive. They've got a railway connection. Train up to East Grinstead and swap and change onto the Bluebell. That's no excuse. Carla, I can move you right in there, can't I? Seriously, like, these are the same bundles of cable. They are the cable that those bits came off. And it fits straight through. It is definitely not the cable that's at fault here. In fact, no, sorry, definitely that specific bit of cable, not the hole in the baseboard. Because the rest of it has no problem. Same for the green. I don't even live on that side of the planet. Worth a trip. See? I've been by rail from Edinburgh. Exactly. Just think of all those wonderful SECR locos that are there. And terriers. We all know that's what you really want to see. Definitely the cable is able to go through that hole. Yay, that went through, didn't it? It did. That is the point. Do not go back out. Now the green one's not gonna. Oh, but it is. There we go. Now the good news is that I haven't actually drilled all the holes yet. I've not been to Bluebell either. Watercress Line, Isle of Wight, Ron Harvey Church, run around all over the old LMR, but never been to the Bluebell. Highly disgraceful. Landed at Heathrow, dropped my bags in the hotel in London, took train to Bluebell while on a business trip. So much for my recovery day. I approve of doing that with your recovery day. Stepney not disputing loco. Yes. Let's pick that buffer stop up before we completely destroy it. But look at that, it's a bit of track and it's laid. I'm saying. It's amazing how well these wires hold the track in. Look at that, it flies. But the problem is we need to put this wire through. And I forgot to drill the hole for that. Stepney loves the Russian Queen. Oh dear. Ow, don't stab yourself with the really small wire. That's another top tip from me. That really hurt. And hello back, I am Gary. And there we go. We have a bit of track that is, for all intents and purposes, down. That's impressive. I drew blood. Not even kidding. All these times using knives and such forth. And saws and the meat cleaver, as Javier calls it. And it's a bit of wire that draws blood. Graphic designers VHS draw blood too. No, they don't. Nurses draw blood. They're very good at it. I need to refill my hydration vessel. So I am going to do that. That recipe and chip certainly cheated death many times. Oh, yes. Yeah, I remember that thing you posted the other day now. Think it's free rust weathering fluid. No. Phlebotomists. Yep, those two. They also draw blood. Actually, no. My phlebotomist has never drawn blood. It's always been a nurse. Every time. If I put that point there, we can work out a bit of flexi for the back there. Where did I put the flexi? There it is. So was iPadaborn because they're playing it on the radio constantly. Aren't phlebotomists specifically blood drawers though? Studiers of blood. Not specifically someone that draws blood, someone that studies blood. I have a consultant that I go and see every year, and before I go and see him, I have to go along 2 weeks earlier so the nurse can take a blood sample. Historic barbers too, yeah, but luckily for me, I don't plan on going back to see any historic barbers anytime soon. But the thing, I still think the name for it is a bit daft. Literally, no one going to hear it. The first thing, oh, this person's going to look at my blood. Well, they would if they spoke Latin. What? No leeches? You technically, I could get leeches prescribed on the NHS. I do qualify for that. So enjoy that fact. We are cutting this off on the layout because I have left my cutting mat in the other room and I would have to move the laptop to go and get it. Oh, Greek. So, of course, medical names are Greek, not Latin, aren't they? Leeches are still a thing. Yeah, leeches are still a thing. So, there are certain medical conditions where where bloodletting is genuinely a cure. I have one. If you are needle phobic and have to let blood regularly, the NHS will allow you to have it to prescribe you leeches to draw your blood rather than using needles. I have never used leeches, I'm just going to put that out there. Pint, that's almost an armful. So we're going to go over to here again. We're going to put a little plastic fish plate on there. And a metal one on there. Leeches are just water vampires. I mean, I see where you're coming from, but no. No, some are Latin, but this particular one is Greek. PH, TH, or Y, or X are usually good indicators of Greek. Fair enough. So, orthomology? Yeah, no chance of my pronouncing that. But it means eye. Okay, good to know. Little bit of plastic on the frog, indeed. Because we wouldn't want the frog getting too close to the other bits. Really awkward to tease the rail through, but it's at least in the fish plate now. Ophthalmology. Yeah, I'm still don't think I'm getting it. There we go. That's on the frog. On the fish plate now. So we can guide that around there like so. Must keep this frog away or the hypnotoad will take us over. Exactly. That's why most people say optician. Yeah, I assumed as much. And there we go. Rather conveniently, if I put that in place over there, that has, in fact, lined up. But where we want to snip the rail is currently right on the end of this sleeper. So if I do that, I don't know if you can see that, but there are now green marks on there. Optometrist is also a valid option. Is an optometrist not different to an optician in some way? I'm going to leave you there whilst I prepare Javier's favourite tool. Listen to me eventually getting words out. Yes, it's green. Well done. Oh, isn't that a lovely noise, everyone? Fun fact, we sold our last pair of Euron cutters at the shop the other day. And yes, I know I should have got them first. That's not the point. I can still cut the plastic with my snips. I thought optometrists dealt with glasses. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought both were the same. Optometrists measure the eye. Also, the opticians treat eye conditions. No, the other just prescribe and produce. There's too many. Eye doctor. I'm going to go with Americans and say eye doctor. This is a saw sound. It is. None of the Americans call them eye doctors. Exactly. Exactly. Does not want to cut through this last bit of it, does it? There we go. That way round. USA. New from Apple, the eye doctor glasses. Well, if it's from Apple, I will continue not going. Maybe your saw has gone blunt. There's no maybe about it. My saw is most definitely blunt. That's not the point. Let us swap the tool in the handle round. And I am at some point going to get another one of these and just have one as a knife and one as a saw permanently. Hydration is very, 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 very important. So now I'm going to thread this back on at this end. Get it back in shape. And put the point there. And you can see they now line up exactly how I wanted them to. So I'm going to wipe my bits of Sharpie off. Bit of a sore point having to keep switching like that. Oh dear. Oh dear, you're all terrible people. And then I'm going to find some bits. Yeah, about there is fine. There we go, finally got it. Remove those bits and we can solder some droppers onto this, because as we know, DCC is just 2 wires. It's those same 2 wires hundreds of times. So we are practically at 10:30. What is everyone else up to this evening? Whilst I build a layout. You know, I love to hear about your projects and such, or anything else you happen to be doing. Figure painting for carriage interiors, out of wire, so I can't do any wiring this evening. Oh, well, it's a good job I'm doing that for you then, isn't it, James? Where have I... Oh, there they are. My wire strippers were underneath the lid of flux. Yes, I forgot the word flux. Ripping kids' music, CD to MP3. Fun. The part of me is glad I don't have to listen to kids' music anymore. The other part of me listens to the music that has heard the music my kids listen to now. Assembling 3D printer very slowly. Well, slowly is generally a good way of doing it. Less mistakes that way. I would know. So, red at the front, green at the back, and again, this is the front. Even though from this angle it looks like the back. Can't have too much luck. Indeed. Building a bridge for my diorama. Aha, excellent. I hope it comes out looking as good as your shelter that you did last weekend does. Been painting cattle wagons, but taking a break now and watching you. I'm experimenting with different finishes using thinners. Excellent! I like the sound of that. Yes, less fiddly bits to replace when done slowly. Exactly, Javier. Exactly. Now, to feed these back on, and you get to come over and watch that. I'll be honest, you get to come over and watch that because it's easier to do it if the camera's over. Yes, those are in the right place. Not looking bad so far. So, trying to get the couplings on the Airfix Dapol coaches. Ah. I hope the couplings go on well for you. I can't say I've ever struggled with fitting tension locks to things because of course I don't use them. It's somewhere around there. I'm sure of it. Yes, it is. I had purchased an Ender 3 some December ago, but it's a wonder when I'll decide to get the heat box for it so I can start using it. Don't we all do that? I enjoy rigging a battery powered fan and a vice attached to my bedside table to keep me cool tonight. I mean, that sounds like a good idea to me. I think it's through. That one definitely is. Yes, it's through. And there we go, another bit of track on the board. See, who needs to stick track down when your wires just hold it this well? Neptune 2, oh, now you printer, radical, aha. I have an Elegant Mars. Sat reasonably close to me. It will, of course, be slightly longer till it runs now, because I went and spent all my money to put ducting in. Well, you know, I had money to put ducting in for the new extractor fan, but then I went and spent it all on some Bachmann buildings. So then our point can go in there. And, you know, we can not mess this one up and put it in and forget to put a hole there. That can be a thing we do. So, an important part of this layout is to be input from you. Boo, 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 money, it comes and goes. It goes. It does indeed. I say, an important part is input from you lot. Now, if I find the right pair of pliers, I can get some leverage behind it. Oh, I've got ones in the bottom of it as well. Typical. Sorry, you're going to have to rip off to deal with it. This here is the part of the world where South Park Quarry lies. North is that way, so Greenbridge is there. South Park Quarry is up in the fields. The layout is facing south, so the layout is that way round. What I need is what we think the back scene should look like. Because if I could get a nice, easy commercial back scene, preferably from Gauge Master, because we have those at work, we could get a back scene up pretty quickly on this as well, and I think it would look really good. Bachmann is temporary, extractor fan is forever. Bachmann buildings at those prices are very temporary, which is why I had to spend the money on them then. And along with the back seam, I will be needing to ballast, etc. Now we're a sandstone quarry here, producing yellow sandstone. Would we therefore have yellow sandstone ballast, do we think? Because I think we probably would. That will go on, but it needs these chairs removing. There we go. So this one's going to want its chairs removing as well. But yeah, I want input from my viewers. Can Google Earth give you a clue for a suitable back scene? You would think so. But there are no roads anywhere nearby that Google Earth can get at. What, no shingle? No, because it's not a Brighton line. It is industrial. This is private owner. I mean, obviously that doesn't mean it couldn't be shingle. But would a quarry buy shingle when they could just as easily use their own stone? Move the location 20 miles or so east. I mean, it's in Kent. Is that not good enough? Just. As for sandstone ballast, possibly wouldn't just turn to sand. You make a good point, James. Those words, is it possible to use them in a sentence like that? No, Brighton. I didn't say no Brighton. I said it's not a Brighton line. The mainline services and the delivery and taking away of wagons is still very much undertaken by the Brighton. So there will be an LBSC presence, but it is a privately owned quarry. Droppers. Droppers are next. Droppers are throwing tweezers around the room. Home, actually. Yes, Linny. Yes. West of Groombridge, so it can't be Ken. I'm sure when I looked at it on a map, it was just inside Ken. I know Oak Hill's just inside Ken. Hydration is important. Because Oak Hill takes the place of Penshurst on the map. And Penshurst is very much in Kent. South Park Quarry is on land owned by Penshurst Manor. And there was genuinely a sandstone quarry on the land. There is a rather lovely sandstone church in Fordcombe, built with bricks that were quarried from South Park Quarry. See, I did my research. That's a total lie. I did the research way after I should have. Because I wanted Oak Hill to be a bit of a nowhere place of no importance, and certainly not somewhere that turned out to be a tiny village with so much importance, or so many important people that you wouldn't believe that it was real. South Park's in Colorado anyway. Certainly, the roving family is hydration, that is. Yeah, well put, Kevin. It is indeed. Great uncle used to live in Penshurst. Ah, well, see? Everyone is local. Boundaries have moved a bit over the years. Yes. But yeah, so the Quarry at South Park was closed when the owner moved back home from his job. As I say, I wanted Oak Hill to be a nowhere place. Penshurst was the only place on the map that fit geographically for everything I wanted, so it ended up being Penshurst. Now, the owner of the quarry, who shut it down when he came home from his job, his job was Viceroy of India. You start to see the problem here. You're not a nowhere place with nothing important going on if the local lord is the Viceroy of India. What makes it worse is he's not the only he's not the only wealthy landowner that was there in the 19th century. There was a second manor house, and both families had seats in the Lords. Viceroy Eric Cartman. Can't actually remember what his name is. I've got it all saved on my laptop. Lord Kenny. One of the two families were given the land in Penshurst by William the Conqueror. I think one of them was his cousin. And they still own the land now. So, you know, it really went well with my nowhere place with nothing important ever happening. Remember, kids, do your research first. The house that was at South Park no longer stands. That family went broke. The other family, whose house is in the middle of Penshurst village, did not go broke, and they still have that big house there. Is there anything wrong with it being non-unimportant? No, there isn't. But I was going for unimportant place where nothing had ever happened, because otherwise things start to get a bit silly and you start to have multiple land owning families with seats in the Lords, and no one believes you because stuff like that. You know, then one of them turns out to be the Viceroy of India. And of course, when it is actually true, it's like, oh yeah, okay. I didn't quite want it to be like that, but that's what it is. And people still don't believe you. So there we go, look, we have track from there, round the back of the loop, to there. I think we should do that the rest of this side in next. Get that in. Where did I put my Sharpie? Oh, there it is. And what I'm hoping is we get far enough along this that we can glue some of it down before we finish this evening. Okay. Sharpie marks. There. If you can see them. But yeah, I'd like to get that we can glue some track down before we finish this evening, and then leave it to dry for next week. Need to change the tools round. And I still reckon we can have wheels move on this layout next week. In case you're wondering why I'm cutting right on the end of the saw like this, there's more sharp teeth at the end. There we go. Cut. Would he have been Lord Hardinge of Penshurst? Indeed he would. You are quite right there. All this info is online to find out. That's where I got it all from. Come off, Sharpie. We don't actually want green rails. Sharpies are also good for soldering. I meant to show you that trick, didn't I? Obviously, you don't know that I meant to show you that trick, but I did. Maybe on a bit of scrap rail, because I don't think I'm going to need it in the actual layout. Right, put the knife back together. Cut the ends off. There they are. I know I bought them out here. There's a lot of bits built up that are going to interfere with the fish plate there. So, fish plates, make sure it sits happily, and solder some wires on. And then we'll have a bit of track that runs the whole length of the board. Sometimes I wish I was more careful with track and didn't do things like that, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to cut it down anyway. Right, there we go. The sleepers can stay as they are. Aren't they lucky? It's also a word I can't pronounce, the French Republic. Now there's a silly sounding job title. Very silly sounding. I can't even say it. It's so silly. Hydration is still important. Especially on a night like this. So I'm going to refill the hydration vessel before we solder some droppers onto that last bit of rail. There we go. I'll stretch the sleepers out a bit. We might end up losing a sleeper. That's fine. Out some of those bits. Flux. And solder. And then it's time for droppers. If I could find where I'd put my snips to snip them. There they are, they're on the layout. He has a railway bridge in Bangladesh named after him. That I did not know. Haha. I am learning. Don't put the wire strippers on the cable for the soldering iron. You might find it makes the soldering iron a lot less mobile. Aren't you glad you get these tips from me? Because these are clearly the most helpful tips. And once again, it's red at the front, green at the back, and this side away from us that is currently at the back is the front. Oh yeah, another thing that railways did to be awkward to my plans for Oak Hill and wiping Penshurst off the map is just slightly further north is the London Chatham and Dover main line. Runs east-west-ish, where there is a station called Penshurst. Or it was called Penshurst. I don't think it is anymore. So I've wiped the place off the map and there's a station named after it. And then there was the one discovery that is to my liking just north of that station. The field that was formerly Penshurst Aerodrome. Which during the war was an RAF station. Still is Penshurst. Oh, fair enough. I thought it changed its name. It's nowhere near Penshurst, evidently. So, you know, it could use with a name change. And there we go. Back underneath. I'm going to move the camera or I'd have hit it. Yeah, okay, I shouldn't have pulled them quite all the way through before doing that. How about not actually near Penshurst? that would be a better name. It would certainly be more accurate. As I say, it's actually nowhere near Penshurst. There you go. Sorry I'm late. I was eating dinner with some friends of ours. Ah, well, welcome, Ben. How are you? I hope you had a good dinner. It is always good to see you. You join us with a layout that's looking much more layouty all the time. You see that it runs, it has a track all the way across it. Now, I'd like to point out that for my goal of having trains running next week, that is enough track that I could have trains running. If I put a bus wire across those droppers, I could run a train all the way across. And we've still got an hour to go. Doing great, my layout is done. Well, the structure and some of the track. Excellent, that's what I like to hear. We are reaching that scary point where I have to wire this though. Fun fact, I have never wired a double slip before. I will be using the instructions off the back of the Pico packet. Well, that's helpful, Pico. Your drawing on the drawing here for the Electrofrog double slip is quite clearly a drawing not of a double slip. I'm going to have to go to bed now. Good night and God bless. Good night, Paderborn. Thank you for coming by. Great to have you here as always. Sleep well, etc., etc. We're going to put this bit of track in here first and then do the double slip. But we're almost at double slip time. Where did I put that fish plate? I had a plastic fish plate here a second ago. There it is. Let's snip that. But yeah, anyone who hasn't already joined my Discord, !Discord in the chat to get a link. And come and give ideas for how the layout should look scenically. And I do mean absolutely everything when I'm saying scenically. Buildings, the lot. Everything. There's many a double slip twixt hydration vessel and lip. Yeah, yes. Indeed, hydration is important. You are very, very correct. As is going to Uckfield, it's a high quality show. So, plastic fish plate. Metal fish plate. Every time I do that, I'm worried I'm going to pierce it into the end of my finger. I'm sure that's a completely unreasonable fear and it doesn't happen. But it doesn't stop me fearing it. Removal of chairs on sleepers. And look at that, almost as if it was planned. The sleepers have interlaced in their natural position. That wasn't planned, that is purely by fluke that it's done that. But I'm not complaining. Double slip. Go there. So we take our Sharpie. And mark where we want to cut. And before we start playing with the camera, we switch the blades around in the multi-tool. Back to Javier's favourite tool again. I wonder if it's still his favourite tool after having to hear it cut through metal so many times this evening. Mint cleaver. I assume that's a yes. Oh, and for those that don't know and who are on Twitter, I set up a Twitter account for my shop the other day. So, at Train Times EB, go and give it a follow. I guarantee there will be special offers just for Twitter followers this week. And yes, we do mail order and stuff. There we go, we're through. Any e-commerce site yet? No, I'm still in. The special offers that are coming this week are in relation to the part of that I am currently setting up. That is all I'm going to say. It is getting there, though. It is getting very close. We do mail order and we accept payments over the phone, though, so it's not all like we're in the third world all the time. Sort of is, though. Being the launch of the e-commerce site deserves video all to itself and a new command. I quite agree, James. I am definitely in agreement there. It very much does. They are the right length. It's just awkward to get them to line up because there's a slight curve in it. It's only very slight. Well, it's slightly tighter than it wants in a bit of rail, that length. But this is why we only have small locos. Like terriers. Now let me read this quickly. Honestly, two frogs electric. Oh, so every rail on this connects via insulated joiner. I did not know that. Seems a bit weird, but okay. But we don't want to go away from there just yet. We still want to put the droppers on this one, don't we? It's flux. And solder. And something caught my foot. Next is the droppers. And you'll notice, because I'm DCC, I have cut all these from the same 2 bits of wire. So, you know, it is only 2 wires. Exactly the same 2 wires, I've just cut it into lots of little pieces. That's how this DCC stuff works, isn't it? And to everyone who's heard me say that I attach a wire to every bit of rail in the past and not believe me, I hope you believe me now. Red at the front, and now the front is at the back, like I was expecting it to be. So there will not be a single bit of this layout that has to rely on 2 bits of metal touching each other. Everything will be soldered to something going back to the controller. Which makes for nice, reliable, smooth running. If this wire expects me to believe that it can't fit through that hole, it's got another thing coming. I think we've done it enough times now that we know it can fit. If anything's going to stop me from getting my goal of trains running next week, it's going to be these droppers refusing to go through the holes. Doesn't want to go in or out now. Can you open up the holes by twisting a file in? But I shouldn't need to. They are plenty big enough that the wires should just go through. You are probably right, I can. say we've seen enough of these go through the holes that we know they fit. It is through. There we go. I've cut myself again. Good job you don't faint at the sight of blood. Well, it's a very good job I don't faint at the sight of blood, because I'm a haemophiliac. I see plenty of it. There we go. We are through. And that is ready to go in place. So it looks like on this I don't actually need to attach any droppers. These two get track feed. And they are attached to there, there and there. So this is attached to all three of these. This is attached to all three of these, and then this is attached. The frogs are attached to these. Each end that is certainly how it looks. So that's a nice and simple one, but as I say, it is all of them are insulated from the rest of the layout. While growing up, I was forever cutting myself, even took the top off one of my fingers while remodelling soldiers for a diorama. Now I'm on warfarin because of my heart condition. I have to be doubly careful. Yeah, I can imagine. So you might be able to see a scar just here. That is where I took the side of my thumb off, and it has since grown back. I have taken the top off here, but there's no scar anymore, and it did grow back. And I've done the same on this side. I have taken the tops off both thumbs at least twice. I have no idea why they grow back. I did not know that was a thing they could do. But I do not complain about it. Oh, that's a really awkward place for you to be. War wounds indeed. Now you're going to be hard to see for threading the wire through. Never mind, I did it. So there we go. That is all of those thread through. Why did you strip the insulation off that section of the points? I haven't stripped anything off on those points. These points are as they came out the box. And now they need lots of insulators. Because it says insulating fish plates on every rail. I don't know why. It makes no sense to me because these two are just getting track feeds, which makes me think they could have metal joiners just fine, but it says insulate on all of them. So I will. I'm going to need to cut away the chairs on these end ones. Insulation is important. It is. And so is hydration. Turns out that engaged beards are a bit fiddly. I would love to tell you that that surprises me, but it doesn't. That is all of them through. Do that bit there, that's fine, but we are going to need another bit of flexi now, because I do think we should fill in this bit here and complete the loop. And we might, after that, have to start sticking it down if we want it stuck down before the end of the live stream. Which, this may come as a shock, I do want it stuck down before the end of the live stream. But I'd say if we get this loop in, we got the entrance, both halves of the loop, and this siding in, I think we've done pretty well for one night. Of course, the alternative is we carry on laying track until the end of the live stream and I stick it all down off camera. Insert your votes in chat now. I should be clear, sticking it down will be very boring. It's literally just plaster on some PVA, put the track back down and stick some drawing pins through to hold it down. Could not have put the camera in a more awkward place, could I? I notice we have no votes in chat for continue laying track. Is this a sign that you don't want me to continue laying track, or is it a sign that you're not listening to me because I'm making horrible noises? Or is it both? Probably both. No, come back. Don't drop the insulating fish plates. See if you can get wires in, maybe. No, I'm not doing that tonight. Running is good. We will get things running next week, James. I guarantee it. something will run on this layout this time next week. Keep on keeping on. This is genuinely, we can finish. We've got 20 minutes left. I can get another couple of bits of track laid, or I can stick this lot down. If we keep laying track, I will not be sticking it down tonight. I will do it tomorrow. I will probably film it so you can see what I do, like I filmed doing the cork last week, for anyone that would like to see it. And track my not boring at all. If it was, I wouldn't be here. Well, thank you very much. That is nice to hear that it is not boring. Those are not going to line up as well. I'm going to have to cut the ends off those sleepers there. And a little bit more. There we go, that's better. Even when it's not. I'll take your word for that. Track time is best time, even when it's not. I mean, more track laying now means less track laying next week. And more wiring and potentially running. And when I say potentially running, I obviously mean 100% it will definitely be running next week. That rail at the back needs to lose a little bit more length. I vote for whatever means most running next week. Fair enough. Track time leads to running time, which is always good. It is indeed. Hang on. Does it want to lose it? I've put this the other way round to how I measured it, haven't I? I measured it that way. which means I've cut the wrong sleepers as well. Yeah, it does. It's fine. Can go back this way now. The meat cleaver. Are Allen wrenches named after someone? Yeah, they're named after Allen. Obviously. Bridge has been mostly built. Excellent. Now I need to switch back. I look forward to seeing pictures of this bridge. Hydration is important. You got to be honest, I assumed it was a company name. But I just preferred my answer of yes, it was named after Allen. Why was the company called Allen? So I assumed the company was named after somebody, and therefore technically the wrenches would be named after that person. You know what, before I do that, let's check all our sizes again. I'm not convinced this one isn't a little bit too long as well. Yeah, I think that wants to lose a tiny bit as well. And then we can add some droppers to it. Alan from the Meerkat video. Alan! 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 Alan Wrench, wasn't he? The Simpsons character they found inside a meteor. I don't know. Remember, don't cut off so that you've only got tiny bits like this to do, because they're really awkward to hold on to and stuff. And when they're awkward to hold on to, cutting them's a right pain. Mr. Google seems to agree with you about that. Fair enough. What series of The Simpsons are we talking? Because this does not sound familiar to me. Right, that's where we want it to sit. Now we can add some droppers to this. Season 11. I should know season 11. I was still watching then. When they go to a shop that not IKEA. No, none of that rings a bell. How strange. As I say, I was definitely still watching The Simpsons at season 11, so I must have seen it. Diorama is pretty much 3 oaks. Longer, more solid platform. Excellent. I shall look forward to seeing some pictures. I don't know what all slates for me, thanks. I hear Sophia can recommend watching lots of my old live streams on repeat. And making sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all those wonderful things that YouTube wants me to tell you to do. It's the episode where Apu gets octuplets. See, now that I know. That is a reference I know. So that is, yeah, that is that way. So red is front and front is currently back. I'll tell you what, I don't think it mattered which way you voted earlier. Since it's now 23:53. This bit of track must have taken unusually long. Go. My 1980s figure painting involving a lot of beige and denim. What, no mauve? Apparently it's only getting up to 14 degrees during the day on the Shetlands at the moment. I need to move up there. That sounds like a great place to move to. Although, well, I looked at the weather thing earlier and it told me the prediction for tomorrow is 5 degrees cooler than today. I was like, yes, I like that. I do have some mauve. I have yet to use it. Oh, that's no good, James. I'm disappointed. Got a bit more to pull out than that. Oh, these rails do not want to go in these fish plates. Right, that one's in. I think that one's in. Yes, yes it is. I was expecting that, that's fine. Get out from under that insulation. There we go, both sides of the loop are in. Pitched up tomorrow after work. If I'm lucky, my GDLC class will have arrived early. Excellent. I look forward to that. They do have big shoulder pads. Do they have big shoulder pads, James? I hope so. Not here tomorrow. Is still 30, 31 degrees. About 32 today. Yeah, it went up to 32 today. But yeah, we're only 27 tomorrow, which is great because, yeah, the front of my t-shirt is just soaked. You and giving a woman a mauve dress. Excellent, James. I very much appreciate it. Still going to be 29 around Glasgow on Thursday. Yuck. Yeah, that sounds horrid. TT needs to tell him. Remember to smash that like button, says the bot. How about improved engine green t-shirt, James? I think that would be a great idea. Improve a mauve dress with big shoulder pads. You can make them with extra layers of paint. It's not dropping down to below 29 here until Friday. Fun. Oh, that does sound wonderful. Let's see if mine has changed for tomorrow whilst we're here. Car, it has changed. Apparently, it's going to peak at 25 tomorrow here. Sorry, does that upset you? It is 20 seconds to midnight UK time, for those wondering. That is why I have not started doing anything else. But we have the start of a layout. I'm rather happy with that. I'm sitting right next to the camera now. I'm actually slightly in front of the camera over on this side here. I'm trying very hard not to get in front of it. But yeah, so I think we've done very well. There's a lot still to do, but next week it's not going to take us that long to get the rest of the track down. There's 4 bits of flex and 1 set of points to lay still, and that is the track down. Tomorrow I will get all this lot glued down. And then that will be ready and we will see things run next week. I approve of starts of layout. Thank you very much, James. Looks wonderful. Thank you, Andy. Good night all. Have a peaceful night. Layout is looking good. Thank you, Kevin. 27-28 in Hastings tomorrow. Not looking forward to working in that. No, I can't imagine that will be too fun. Deary me, look at the time. Exactly, Javier. Huzzah for progress. Thank you, Alex. I couldn't see that behind the light till I moved. So, yes, it has been absolutely fantastic here. As far as I'm concerned, I've had a wonderful time. Look, you can see my hand there because that is my control panel for the live stream. I'm getting ready to press the end of stream button. So yes, thank you for coming, everyone. It has been absolutely fantastic. I've had a great time. I hope you have too. We have made some fantastic progress on this layout as far as I'm concerned. I say we'll have all the track down next week. We will run trains next week. Layout looks good so far. Thank you, Sophia. So yes, thank you for watching, everyone. I've been Gary. This has been Let's Build. You've been awesome as always. Good night.